Now we have to do my season finale of my favorite YouTube video. And that is, wait for it, Marilyn Manson versus the King of Pop, Michael Jackson. Let me say that again. Marilyn Manson versus the King of Pop, Michael Jackson. You probably might spit out your Pepsi, your Coca-Cola, your Mountain Dew, your Sprite, your 7-Up, your apple juice, your orange juice, your water, your sprinkling water, your Coke 45, your beer, whatever you drink, you might spit it after I just named up the last matchup of verses. All right, now these are two legends. These are two icons in the music industry that have transcended music for almost 3 decades. Now, Marilyn Manson got his rise to fame in the 1990s. Now, you should know the story of Marilyn Manson. He was a Catholic. I think on his mom's side of the family, they might be Catholic, or I think his dad's side of the family might be Jewish. So he has 2 different religions. And one day he and his friend was bored from playing outside, and he discovered those porn magazines of that time period from World War II. And that's how his fascination of, the stuff that he put in his music kind of came to light. And then finally he started going to these talent shows where he was in a rock band. Him and 2 other people were in a rock band, but they were doing it as a hobby. He wasn't doing it as a hobby. He was actually trying to really do that for real. Now, he had a normal job like most people. He worked at a Walmart or a McDonald's or a Burger King. He had a normal job, and he usually had people look at him like he was weird and strange. And then he used that as his persona. There was Beetlejuice the movie. Some of y'all in the 80s and 90s, y'all know Beetlejuice. Y'all know what I'm talking about. And there was that, and then there was the horror movies, and then, of course, he was influenced, and then next thing you know, he got a start. He put out a mixtape, and he started taking songs that were already done. Like, Cry Me a Little Sister, it had already been done, but he remade it. And then there was Sweet Dreams, and he remade that too. And then he put out his first album, and it just blew up overnight. I remember that they were destroying Tupac's, Notorious B.I.G.'s, and Snoop Dogg's, and Dr. Dre's albums because they were talking about sex and violence and degrading women. And they did the same thing to Marilyn Manson. They would stomp on his CDs and destroy them too. And this is when he just came out. And I became a Marilyn Manson fan in 1994 because I accidentally waited until my mom went to Rouse to go buy some groceries. And I decided I didn't want to hear no more rap music because I was tired of it. And changed it to Kiss FM, I believe. It's like 1994 was like a long time for me because I'm 33. And what I heard, sweet dreams are made of the 7 seas. Everybody is looking for something. Some of them want to use you. Once I heard that, I was hooked instantaneously. My mom came back and had that look that all black women have. Boy, don't you ever touch my radio ever again to some Marilyn Manson. Do you even know who that is? I go, nope, but he's the shit. I like his style. I like his rock music. He the shit. And my mom had to get her friend that was a police officer for 10 years, which it's 25 years ago that she was a police officer. Now, she was a police officer for 10 years, but it's 25 years ago. And she was a bodyguard for a lot of these rock stars. Like, every time there was a rock concert, she would get the phone, would ring, and they would say, do you want to do bodyguard for such and such? And she would do it because she would make anywhere between $2,000 to like almost $10,000 doing that. She had bodyguard once for AC Hammer. She bodyguard for Eddie Murphy twice, and then there was he passed away, but I can't remember the actor's name. But he was an actor in the 80s and the 90s, but he was always addicted to drugs. She bodyguard for that actor, and then there was that other band, the Vanilli guys. where they have the braids it up and they wear the suits before they got exposed that they don't write their own music and their own lyrics. But anyway, she bodyguarded for them. And then there was this one rock star that nobody knew about, and she happened, just by the luck of chance, had a friend who bodyguarded with Marilyn Manson. And she kind of sat down and told me, you know it ain't rap music, right? You know it ain't hip-hop, right? You know it's rock, and the stuff he talk about makes the Jews and the Catholics angry. Like, he would talk about the heretics in the Bible, talk about the Protestant Jews, and, you know, they would look at Marilyn Manson like he was a demon from hell, and he would take everything that you hate and he would turn it into a rock song. And that's what I found fascinating about him. In fact, I would try to put on some clothes and imitate him, and I was like, oh, Lord, he think he's Marilyn Manson. And I remember that he would do that. He would go on stage with a shirt off. And at the time, I thought it was ketchup, but it was pig's blood. And he would pour it all on him. And then people would just go nuts at the rock concert. And then he would be wearing a dress. And then people thought something was wrong with this man. And people had to explain that's his character. That's his act. That's how he gets you to watch his videos and to create controversial. And then he talked about how he couldn't stand politics. And here goes a song about politics. And then he go turn around and talk about what he can't stand about people being biased. Things of that nature. It came to hits. And then when he did The Beautiful People, I really was hooked because I was watching wrestling. Here comes the beautiful people. Oh, the beautiful people. The beautiful people. And then he does the vocal tracks to Resident Evil. Every time they do a horror movie, he gets a phone call. It's him doing the vocal tracks and the instrumentals. Like, that's what makes me like that first Resident Evil film. The fact that he done it. And the way he laid down them tracks. Like, you could imagine that somebody turns the power off in the house and that song comes on and you either run into a wall or a hallway and a zombie come out and take you. With that song, you can imagine, okay, my life might be over now, but if it's going to be over, play that Marilyn Manson track from Resident Evil. Dun dun. Dun, 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 dun. Like, once I hooked, I was feeling the beat. Same thing when he started doing songs for Queen of the Damned movie. And then he had my favorite personal, It's a Long Road Out of Hell. Like, I like that song from the movie soundtrack of Spawn. And then he gives me one of his best ones, If You Was My Vampire. 6 a.m. Christmas morning, no shadow, no reflection here. Rings to bring the on the break. If I was your vampire. He just comes out with all these songs, and it's the 2000s, and guess what? I'm still nodding my head to some Marilyn Manson. Now, when I'm in college, most black women be like, there ain't no rap music. What on God's name are you listening to? You know, some of the black women weren't really feeling Marilyn Manson. But them black golf women, like the black golf women would be smiling at me because I was nodding my head to some Marilyn Manson. Now, he did get arrested like at least 4 or 5 times in that time frame. And in that time frame, he put out like 6 or 7 albums. Did a song with Lady Gaga, which I was impressed by. And things of that nature. Now, in his prime, you couldn't touch him because the stuff he was doing was unseen, unheard of. It might have been controversial, but he would sell out cities everywhere he went. They thought he was going to be a disgrace going to foreign countries, and the same reaction. And then he would take songs that were already done and he would remake them. Like Cry Me a Little Sister, he would remake it. Sweet Dreams, he would remake it. And some even indicated that when he take songs that were already done, he would do it better than the ones who did the song originally. Now, let's get to the king of pop, Michael Jackson. Got his rise to fame in the 1970s with the Jackson 5. Put out 3 albums of the Jackson 5. And it wasn't until at the age of 17, going on 18, maybe it might have been 20 years old, that Motown saw that he could be a solo act. And that's where the legend of Michael Jackson began. You know, he did Billie Jean, where we got the legendary moonwalk. Billie Jean, not my love. She just a girl that I wish I never met. But the kid is not my son. Dun 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 dun. Yes, my dad would play that song all day, every day. Now, I think y'all know my Michael Jackson song. When we got to the 80s and I saw that leather jacket, that's probably why I love wearing leather jackets, because of Michael Jackson. As soon as he went, your butt is mine, and the man's me. Come on now, dun 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 dun. Come on, wanted to know, cause I'm bad, you know it, cause I'm bad, you know it, cause I'm running on the whole town, on the runs in the brain, Manson and the who's bad? Dun 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 dun. I mean, I could not stop nod my head to that song. I would take my mom's Michael Jackson leather jacket, bad jacket, and actually wear it, and every time the song come on, would get in front of the TV and start imitating Michael Jackson. I would take one of those washing gloves and put the washing glove on my hand as if it was his glove. Same thing with Just Beat It. Just beat it. Just beat it. You want to be the macho man? You want to act tough, but you want to say, just beat it. Just beat it. Just beat it. Just beat it. On the run around to beat it. There's that. And of course, let's not forget, remember the time when he had Eddie Murphy. You know, he had Magic Johnson. You know, the way he came in there with the Egyptians, that was a good song. You know, just want to be, you know, then there's that song where he talks about oppression. I mean, he had a bunch of hits. Like, everything Michael Jackson did was a hit after hit after hit after hit after hit. And no one had never seen him do videos that were past 3 minutes. Like, these videos be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 minutes. You'd be like, man, damn. And they were good. A Smooth Criminal. Dun 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 dun. You're like, oh man, he just keeps coming with these hits. I mean, the King of Pop was so great that I don't think there's not one song I would not listen to. Like, you could have a 100 countdown of Michael Jackson's greatest hits, and I probably would try to listen to all the songs in 3 to 4 hours. Especially the one where he did with Janet Jackson called Scream. It's hard to get that song, but I loved it. And then of course he blew me away with my personal all favorite, Thriller. Dun dun dun. It's Thriller, Thriller night. I mean, every time that song come on, I'm always trying to get in front of the room and get me a red jacket and start doing what he did in the song where he scared the girl off. Like, to me, that was the best interpretation of him doing horror. And you could say that a lot of artists after Michael Jackson took his influences and went into that direction. Had Michael not done that, you probably would have never gotten Rob Zombie, which Rob Zombie came around that time frame. You probably would have not got Marilyn Manson. You probably would have not gotten too many people doing those type of influences, because he gave birth to it. You would have not got Chris Brown if it weren't for Michael Jackson. You would have not got Neo if it weren't for Michael Jackson. I mean, I'm just trying to tell you how the birth of him taking pop and dancing came. You would have not got Britney Spears or Christina Aguilera if it weren't for Michael Jackson. For him to do songs with Christina Aguilera and Britney Spears in a duet. Then for him to turn around and do a collaboration with Janet Jackson again. And to turn around and do that with Beyonce. I mean, you could see how he just transcends. And then to go over 3 decades doing that. Now, yes, there was the legal issue. There was the legal trouble. You know, there's the album that flopped in 2001 and 2002. You know, there was the allegations to, all that other stuff that kind of smeared his name. And then he was going to do This Is the It tour. Just when you think that was it, he was going to give us his best one last time. which was kind of heartbreaking to see a legend like that fall. And to this very day, the legend continues to grow and grow. Music keeps being played. Now, just imagine on a grand scale what would have happened if Marilyn Manson and Michael Jackson had a chance to go into a studio and create great masterpiece. I mean, just think about it. Marilyn Manson lasted 3 decades. Michael Jackson lasted 3 decades. Marilyn Manson to this day is still rocking and rolling, and Michael Jackson's music is still having an effect on future generations. Just imagine if these two got in the booth and laid down the greatest track. I mean, now, in their primes, no question Marilyn Manson would just beat you with creative vision. But Michael was on another level. Michael could get on to a level, transcend, and then climb another level and then keep climbing. Now, if you're talking about prime, Michael, by 2 hairs, would beat out Marilyn Manson respectively simply because Michael didn't just sing. He would sing, he would dance, he would get creative with his video. Michael would even express what direction he wanted his stories to go. He would storytell. And Michael would also take stuff from out of nowhere and it turned into a song. Michael could take a catchphrase. Michael could then take a movie, a TV show. It could turn into a song. Now, Marilyn Manson does the same thing, but when Michael does it, you're still thinking about the way he did it, and it could be 5 months later, it could be 5 years later, and you're still thinking about how Michael did it. And with Michael, you can never tell what he was thinking because just when you thought you figured Michael out, Michael came back with something else for you to think about. Marilyn Manson, eventually you would eventually figure out what his act was, and then either you liked his act or you didn't. Both became controversial figures. And to this day, if you were to look at their comparisons, you could tell if these two were to just go into a studio and lay down a track, a masterpiece would be created. I mean, just think about it. But in their prime, by 2 hairs, I gotta go with the king of pop, Michael Jackson. Peace.